Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. This video that I have does not appear to come from an agency. Of course, it's body cam footage, so it had to have come from an agency. But what I mean by it doesn't come from an agency is there's no spokesperson explaining what's going on or anything like that. It's just video that was obtained by a media outlet called in Maricopa. And they released the footage to the YouTube page, and they also ended up having an article on the incident itself. The article is February 28th of 2025, talking about this guy, Keith Prock, age 37. This dude pulled a gun on police, shot the police, and then the police shot him back, and then he died. So problem solved, problem staying solved on this one. But this article has kind of an interesting look into his background. I'm not going to go through and read the whole thing. There are a couple of words that are edited in the article, but you know I can't speak them because I could be canceled. And YouTube probably has algorithms that would detect it and give me a strike on my channel or something like that. So I'll just scroll down on the article here, and you can pause the video if I'm going too fast to read what's on here, and then I'll show the body cam footage itself.
Jeep. Stop, man. Stop. Stop, man. Oh, shit. Come here. Get the fuck back! Get back! Get the fuck back! Get down! Get on the radio. Fuck. Fuck, I can't get on the radio. Hold him. 999! 999, officer down.
Right, so triple whammy. He gets shot by this one officer, gets shot by another officer, and then gets run over. Great way to deal with a dirtbag like this. So no idea on how it was they had, figured out where he was, and it seemed like obviously multiple of them were there. So they had to have been tracking this guy down, hunting him, and tracking down to this gas station here, and well, I guess maybe. All right. So when this officer's chasing him, let's see, I'll mute this too. Dude produces a gun. And fires. So we see that he has a semi-auto pistol with a tactical light on there. With his criminal history, he would have been unable to go purchase this thing at a gun store. He's a convicted felon. He would have been prohibited in doing that. So where did this gun come from? Well, two likely ways. One is a straw purchase where he gives the money to someone who doesn't have a felony background, and they go to the gun store and buy the gun for him. And then, they give it to him, and if anything's ever said, they'll say, oh, it got stolen. Or it's a stolen gun. And a lot of guns found on the streets with criminals are stolen guns. That is probably one of the negative, ugly scars with gun owners is a lot of gun owners, lawful gun owners, like people who are not going out doing, crimes and stuff. But there are a lot of law-abiding people who are very, very negligent with how they store their firearms. And whenever I mention, about a gun being left in a car and a person being negligent and not locking the gun up, there's always these people who say, well, he shouldn't be stealing from the car. Well, no shit, Karen. Yeah, he should not be stealing. He should also not be going out shooting police officers and doing all this other shit. But guess what? People break the laws. And your kids should not be eating pills. They should not be eating narcotic pills. But if you don't keep your pills locked in a child-proof container, they could get a hold of that container and think the pills are candy and eat them and then die. And that's usually how I try to explain it and how I see it. I see the negligent storage of a gun no different than negligently allowing a bunch of pills to be laying around. If you let a bunch of pills sit around uncontained and a kid gets a hold of them and they don't know, they eat them, they could die. If you leave a gun laying around, same thing. Kid could get a hold of it and die. If you leave a gun in your car in the center console that doesn't even lock, and you know that there are criminals out there who will break into cars, you're being negligent. You are creating a situation where a criminal can become armed with a good gun. And there are a lot of good guns out there that are being stolen. That's how you see so many of these freaking thugs with Glocks. And especially Glocks with tactical lights and now ones that have red dot sights on them. That's how you see these thugs with SIGs and some HK pistols. Like they are not going out and spending the money on this stuff. They're stealing it. So if you leave your gun in the car unsecured, even if you lock the doors on your car, guess what? Your glass can be broken pretty easily. You are being negligent if you just leave your gun laying in the car. You need to have a safe for your car, a lockbox, something to put your gun in if you're going to be leaving your gun in the car that makes it harder for a criminal to gain access to. The idea is to make, if you don't have a gun on you, then you need to make that gun inaccessible and or inoperable to unauthorized people. Failure to do so can lead to things like this. Now, like I said, I don't know how he came into possession of this, but it's probably a pretty good chance that he stole it. See his partner run by, and then you see bullet marks hitting the wall here from where the bad guys are turning fire. So the bad dude, he was dedicated to this idea of killing police. He was going out in a gunfight. So slow this down a little bit more. So the officer who was standing, who was running, he initially had that taser out. And I think he ended up firing it because I thought that we could hear the thing cackling in the background. And as he gets closer, we'll see that he decides to drop the taser out of his hand and go to his gun. And we end up seeing the taser fall next to the officer that is on the ground. The video is being a little slow for me. And that's got to be a very emotional sight right here. Excuse me. I got the flu last month and still have this lingering cough. But it has to be a very emotional sight right here to hear gunshots and see a fellow officer immediately fall down to the ground. And unknown if it looks like maybe there's some blood that we can see, but it's got the blur box over it. And then there's that taser that you see midair as it's falling to the ground. But the sight of this, to see one of your co-workers, one of your friends, go down to the ground being shot. Yeah, you can see the blood right here. that's got to be hard to deal with. And this guy is he is a clear and present danger to society. He is a threat to everyone else. He has just shown a huge propensity for violence. He has no care in the world for anyone, and he shot one officer. He's shooting at the other, and so this officer is engaging him as he's running away, and this is the proper response, in my opinion. Some people will talk about how they got a problem with people being shot in the back or being shot as they're running away. I see no problem with it whatsoever in circumstances like this. He is like I said, he's a clear and present danger to society. Under Tennessee versus Gardner, this is completely legal for the police to be doing. There's You have to assume that because this guy has shot at other officers, that he could try to commandeer a vehicle, take a person hostage. You have to assume that he will shoot at other officers. And so, although he may be running away, it doesn't mean that he's just going to run away and then become safe again. He's dangerous. He's vicious. And he needs to be stopped. And if that means shooting him in the back as he runs, shoot him in the back. So no problem with this whatsoever. And then what makes it really great is after he shoots him, another police car comes up. And I guess with a detective in the car shooting as well, because it says Detective 2 shoots him. I'm guessing maybe there could be a guy in the passenger seat, maybe, shooting. And then, boom, car hits him. I'm hitting the forward button and it's freezing on me. I don't know. Alright. I wish they wouldn't put the blur box over it. It's not like it's that graphic anyway. All right. So this guy's criminal background is quite a bit. He's got prior violence in his criminal history, robbing a place and shooting at people or pulling a gun on people. A lot of drug stuff. But just because a person has mostly just a bunch of drug stuff in their criminal history doesn't mean that they're a non-violent person. It just means they haven't been caught for violent things. I've dealt with a lot of drug offenders, a lot of what you call drug addicts. Some of them are not inherently violent, but for survival, to them, what would be for survival, like it's a necessity, they will resort to violence. There are others who are just inherently violent people, and when they're under the influence of whatever intoxicant is their choice, that can make them even more violent. And so I really take an issue with a lot of these criminal sympathizers who whine and complain that people need treatment, not to be locked up. Oh, he's battling demons. You don't know what they're always like. You don't know what demons he's battling. You don't know his story. Drugs got a hold of him. He's an addict. He needs treatment, not lockup. No, that's garbage. No, these people do need lockup. They do. They are a threat to society, and they cannot be trusted in society. They're either violent or they take stuff. They steal things. And we don't need people like that out in our communities. So this, like I said, this notion that these drug offenders are victims, that they need treatment, is just a bunch of BS to me. Of all the drug offenders I've dealt with, and the ones that I know that have come clean, it was not some substance abuse program that they took in prison that turned them clean. It was not some court-ordered rehab that they went to that got them clean. Of the ones that I can think of, what got them clean was they just eventually came to the realization that the track they was on in life was going to be their demise. It was no good for them. And they just made that decision to change. One of them, unfortunately, they racked up some felonies. Now they're felons for the rest of their life. They're sober, got in school, and trying to make a good life for themselves. But for several years of their adult life was just crime. But now they've turned themselves around, and I don't know how many times they were arrested, but they was arrested multiple times, and most likely given some type of court-ordered rehab and or offered so many of these programs while locked up, and it just wasn't any of those that got them on the right path. They just got, that one I'm thinking of, just got tired of being in jail all the time, and I think having a kid probably really set them a little straight. And the other one is probably motivated by their kid as well, but they are also a very religious, or now a religious minded person, and I think it was faith that got them on their track. They obviously were not of faith many years ago, but their many years of that lifestyle got done something to get them to turn their life around and change. Could this guy had also sometime, maybe 5 years past this, decided to get clean and get on track? I don't know, maybe. It's possible. But we just can't go out on a limb for every single person out there and just hope that, oh, they're going to get better. Oh, they're going to get better. No. We just have to wait for them to prove that they're going to be getting better. And in the meantime, we need to be holding them accountable. We need to be ensuring that they are appropriately prosecuted and sentenced. When it came to him robbing a place and having a gun involved in it, and then he got probation, he'd served some time, then get out on probation or parole on that. No, unacceptable. Violent crimes should have absolutely zero chance of probation and parole. You get sentenced to 10 years, you need to do 10 years flat, not a day less. No good time, no shock probation, no regular probation, none of that. You get a violent crime and you get sentenced to 10 years, you need to do 10 years flat. And then some people's arguments are, well, if they're just inside prison and they have nothing to look forward to, they're not going to be good. Blah blah blah. Okay, fine. If they don't want to keep themselves together, then as they act stupid in prison, they can get more time added to their sentence. You want to make your 10-year sentence a 15-year sentence? Go ahead. You want to turn that 15 into 20 years? Be my guest. Act stupid. Get treated appropriately. Getting out, if they were given 10 years, then getting out on that 10-year mark should be their goal. If they can't keep it together, they're not going to be able to keep it together once they get out. The substance abuse programs, all these other programs in prisons that they do, like the anger management classes, the classes on parenting and controlling emotions, and all this other stuff. It's just mere attendance. That's all it is. You just have to show up. How hard is that to do when you're locked up? What else do you got going on? Right? It's a given. They give you this class. You just have to show up to it, and you get credit for it. And then you pass it, and you get X amount of time shaved off your sentence. Sitting around in your jail cell or your prison cell. If there are no major disciplinary reports on you, then you get your good time. It's automatic. Every month you get good time, or every quarter you get good time, and that removes time from your sentence. And the way to stop that is if a corrections officer does a report on you for some type of infraction, and then you're found quote unquote guilty for it inside the prison, then you get that good time taken away. That doesn't always happen. You to understand how a prison works, you have to know people who've worked in prison, or have some experience with corrections, and even if a person does have experience with corrections, they may not even know some of those intricacies of it, right? Like they just didn't get to see how some of that stuff went on. But when it comes to those reports, sometimes there's high-ranking people who are in charge of these programs, or there's shift supervisors, or program administrators, someone of some kind of ranking or whatever. They will try to try to reason with these inmates and say, all right, well, you did this. If you behave, I won't follow this, and you won't have your good time taken away. And that's just a Band-Aid, right? That's just a Band-Aid. That's not truly fixing them. That's not doing anything for the community there. That's just making that person's shift, making that person's program go smoother for them, because they don't have to deal with someone acting a donkey. So they tell them to be nice for a week, a couple days, and then the thing goes away. And then they don't have any strikes against them, and they get to keep their good time. Or you just may have prison officers who just don't care. They don't care. They just want to clock in, clock out, do an 8, and hit the gate. They won't enforce rules. They won't write reports. And these prisoners do whatever the hell they want without being checked. That's really probably the majority of the problem right there is the individual prison officers just don't want to do their jobs, or they're scared to do their jobs, or the new ones, they might not even know how to do their jobs fully because the people who trained them didn't show them how to do these kind of reports, didn't show them how to be persistent and be proactive. They just showed them the bare basics of what they need to do. Oh, this is where their request forms and grievances are. This is where the extra toilet paper is. This is where trash bags are. This is where you go to do your rounds at. You got to do your head counts over here. They just show them the bare basic necessities. And so these people clock in, clock out, go home, and they never write any reports. They never press any issues. And people like this act a donkey while in prison and receive good time when they should not be receiving good time at all. And then parole. Parole is a joke. So many times we see offenders be granted parole when they should not be granted parole. And that, again, goes back to prison officers not doing their jobs correctly. They're not writing reports like they're supposed to. They're not holding these inmates accountable like they're supposed to. And in some defense of some of these parole boards, they don't have anything to go off of. There's no reports for them to be looking at saying, oh, yeah, we need to deny this guy parole. But even when there are some stuff there, I still think parole boards just don't make very good decisions, and they end up letting people out early when they should not be letting them out early. Like this guy. He got out early. He got reduced sentencing. What did he end up doing? Shooting a cop. They shot another cop. Tried to kill police. Alright, not much else to say about this video. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.